Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, and you are happily tuned into the I'm Making It Happen show on the Reef 103.5 FM with exceptionally yours, Nykole Tyson. And we are here on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on I'm Making It Happen, we discuss how we can make it happen in our minds, bodies, finances, business, and culture, despite the inevitable and not so pleasant challenges. And that's to ultimately shift our mindsets and allow us to realize that we have the power to improve and maneuver every and any situation. And today I have the honor of speaking with Allister Williams. He's the Executive Director of the Tourism Events Unit. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming St. Kitts Music Festival happening June 26th to June 28th. And and so before we get into the details, definitely want to say good morning to everyone in USVI, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, and anywhere you are in the Caribbean. Thanks so much for tuning in, as well as all those listening live from the East to West Coast via reefbroadcasting.com. Good morning to you. And wherever you are in the world, thanks for tuning in, as well as those watching live on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in each and every Wednesday. Please do like and share. And as I mentioned, we have Mr. Allister Williams. He's the Executive Director of the Tourism Events Unit out of St. Kitts. So direct in St. Kitts, we are going to be speaking with him. He's right here. And we're talking about, as I mentioned, the upcoming St. Kitts Music Festival happening June 26th through the 28th. Good morning to you, Mr. Williams.
Good morning, and good morning to all of your listeners. You're here in Radio Land and, of course, streaming via the internet. I'm happy to be here this morning.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us and taking time out of your busy schedule to let individuals know that what's happening in St. Kitts. And I mentioned you're directing to St. Kitts, and we're thrilled to have you let us know more what's happening with the music festival. And also, this year marks, you're continuing your long-standing tradition that's helped to boost your tourism industry and economy of St. Kitts. So we're really glad to have you today. I just want to start with some background about you and ask, with this is going to be your 26th, was it? Huh? 27
festival.
Okay, great. 27th music festival. So I want to give the audience, the listeners some background, and then we're going to come forward. All right. And so, first of all, how is the weather? How's everything in St. Kitts today?
Well, it's a very lovely day today. The weather is as typical Caribbean, very sunny. A bit overcast. Of course, there's been some, the Sahara dust and whatnot happening in the region. So we're getting a little effect, but nothing much. It is still a fabulous day for outing and for persons to go out and really have a great time.
Perfect. Have you guys been getting as much rain as we have here?
Well, not as much this week. We've been having periodic showers, but not as much this week.
Okay, great. So that's what's happening in St. Kitts. So we've been having a lot of rain over here. It's still sunny. Some parts are overcast, but it's still a great day to be in the Caribbean, right? And so,
that's right.
Yeah. So let's start with some background. What initially prompted the creation of the St. Kitts Music Festival, as you said, 27 years ago, back in 1996, especially during the tourism downturn? What prompted the creation of this? And you've been continuing it every year.
Yes, most certainly. Of course, the board of the festival, as you said, started in 1996. It came at a time when the island was in pursuit of a new and bold initiative to help transform the tourism industry, especially the land-based side of the sector. At that time in the 90s, you found that quite a lot of festivals were springing up in the region, mainly of the jazz genre. So you had several islands having festivals around that period. However, we decided that we wanted to do something unique, something special, and we opted to have a music festival as opposed to a jazz festival, because we felt that a music festival would give us some more latitude, so to speak, to play with the formula each year, play with the lineup each year, and be able to offer different types of music, a diverse lineup so that the whole family, a group of friends can come out and enjoy. So that is what we did in '96, and since then we haven't looked back. We are, I would say, the last of the Mohicans, as the movie would say. We've been around perhaps one of the longest in the region. I think there's only about one or two other festivals in the region as long as we are. And so it has been an incredible journey over the years. And we could not do it without the many patrons come out each year. Many of those patrons come from the U.S. and Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And, we want to thank them for the support the years by us and still trying to do. They saw the vision and they stayed the course with us. And so we want to thank them for supporting us over the years. And we look forward to having them, of course, again this year when we put on our mega event come June 26th, 29th.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that. And then the USVI and British Virgin Islands know think it's appreciation for attending this festival. That's awesome. And so tell us, so you said you like to play around with the genre, with the events, not having it as a stipulated as a jazz festival, but it's a music festival. So how has the festival evolved over the years? Because you mentioned experimenting with the formula each year. So what are some of the changes or additions you've made to keep it fresh and appealing to a wider audience?
Well, we are working out, and so we decided to discontinue the Sunday, so we remained with 3 nights. However, those 3 nights we were able to experiment with the formula over the years. So some years we might have some hip hop, some years we may have some country, So whatever it is, we try, depending on the prevailing trend at the time, we mix and match in order. Of course, at the end of each festival, we do informal of our patrons to hear, what they thought are concerning the event. Some of the things that we could do better, some of the things they enjoy. We try to get a good understanding as to what our patrons are thinking. And so with that information, we are in a much better position to plan the next year's event. And so each year, the lineup responds basically to what we've been hearing from our patrons. So there are years that, some patrons say, we want to see a little bit more hip hop, we want to see a little bit more, different genres and so on. We try to see how we can implement those suggestions, those ideas into what we are doing. And, of course, at the end of the day, the ultimate aim of the festival is to put heads in beds. It's about tourism. And so we try to tailor the lineup to suit our audiences, in the diaspora and the marketplace that we are really promoting Thinkers and Nevis and the festival, of course. But the diverse lineup have allowed us to mix and match over the years, and we have found that our patrons have said that is one of the things that encourage them to come back year after year, because they know there'll be something for everyone. The whole family can come out and enjoy the festival. Our group of friends can come and enjoy the festival because there's always something there for everyone.
Perfect. Well, one of the things that you mentioned, and before I do that, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Allister Williams, straight out of St. Kitts, Nevis, and he's the Executive Director of the Tourism Events Unit out of St. Kitts, and we're talking about the upcoming St. Kitts Music Festival that's happening June 26th through the 28th. And what I love about what you just said, and I love the phrase that you mentioned, is that the purpose of the festival is to put heads in beds. And so this is a initiative to, like you mentioned, boost the economy, bring people to St. Kitts Nevis during a slow period. And so that was, that's a strategic positioning for this festival that has been continuing for, as you mentioned, 27. This will be the 27th year. And so when you mention like the diverse crowd and the diverse lineup, you have everything from, I don't think you mentioned this one yet, but you have jazz, soca, hip hop, reggae. You even have sometimes country music, right? Can you tell us about the thought process? And since we're talking about the diversity, what are we looking forward to hearing this year? Who's going to be a part of the lineup?
Well, this year, as usual, I mean, those of you who have been to the festival, they know what to expect. But for those who have not been to the festival before, we invite them to come out and to experience the St. Kitts Music Festival. And our tagline says it all, an experience like no other. Of course, we start out with the Thursday night. The Thursday night is a full body workout, so to speak. So you really need your good, comfortable dancing shoes, because that is the night where we focus mainly on soca and calypso.
Okay.
But of course, from time to time we might try in some dancehall or perhaps some Afrobeat, as the case may be. This year, one can experience soca and calypso, and we have a little dancehall in there as well. So it's a mixed night, but predominantly soca and calypso. On Friday night, over the years, we have basically presented dancehall and reggae. And like I said before, we always take the opportunity to mix and match. But this year, our Friday night is predominantly dancehall and reggae. And of course, in keeping with promoting and preserving our culture, we also have some steel pan in there as well, because we recognize that quite a number of our citizens and even patrons from within the Caribbean region, the diaspora, they come to the festival, and sometimes they want to hear a little bit of the culture. So we try to put in a cultural element in the whole lineup, the whole weekend, so that at least they can leave getting a taste of everything. So it's not just about the music, but it's also about the food. So it's a full package, the food, the people, everything rolled into one. So this year on Friday night, you'll get a combination of dancehall, reggae, and of course some cultural elements as well. And of course on Saturday night, we bring the curtains down on the concert for the 3 nights, and that will focus mainly on R&B, a little jazz, and mellow sound, so to speak. This is the cool down night. So this is more on the romantic side, and of course for those persons who like R&B, reggae, and those R&B, you call it R&B, and smooth jazz and that sort of music. That is what you'll have on the Saturday evening this year.
Perfect. And as I mentioned, this is Mr. Allister Williams, straight out of St. Kitts and Nevis. He is executive director of the Tourism Events Unit. And speaking on the St. Kitts Music Festival happening June 26th through the 28th, we got a background about how it started, what the purpose of it is, and just how the St. Kitts Music Festival has evolved over the years, and how, with the variation, the diversity of the genres of music, of course, the festival draws a diverse crowd. And so you mentioned with the lineup, just, a broad idea of what the lineup is. We're going to talk about some of the, acts, the artists that's going to be performing. Has the lineup you've already completed the lineup, correct? So everybody.
Well, yes, we have finalized the lineup. As a matter of fact, we launched the festival in December of 24. Giving patrons enough time to plan ahead, especially those from the diaspora, and of course, even our friends from within the region want to make sure that they have enough time to plan ahead. And so we launched in December 2024, and the final lineup in January of 25. So our intention really is to give patrons at least a 6-month booking window so that they can get the best rates, not only in the hotels, but also airline, as far as airline is concerned as well. So our aim is to make sure that they have enough time to plan. So on Thursday night, the 26th of June, we have Sensia, and that is dancehall. Then we have Signal Band, Trilogy, Patrice Roberts, Young Brother, Kester Band, Akai Suite, Tubop, Collision Band, and of course the Honeybees String Band. That's except for Sensia, most of the other artists is basically soca calypso genre, and outside of the Honeybee String Band, which of course is more on the cultural side. On Friday night, we have Barrington Levy, Spice, Da Vinci, Chronic Law, Leisure, Sankey Steel Orchestra, DJ Terror, Ideli Nappy, and Colin Wyatt. And of course, the man who the whole region is coming to see, Vibes Cartel.
Nice.
So just from the listing, you'll see predominantly dancehall and reggae. Then on Saturday, we have Romain Bogo, Christopher Martin, Abina Amory, Virgil Hutt, Nicholas Bronco, Ira Starr, and Jennifer Hudson. So this is our R&B, Afrobeat, jazz night. And that's what the lineup looks like. And for more information, patrons can log on to our website, www.sainkitsmusicfestival.com, and they'll get more information on the festival and, of course, ticket options, because we do have regular tickets, but we also offer VIP tickets as well. VIP tickets are offered by private providers, but we do have that option at the festival. So they can log on and get more information on ticketing, information on the festival, and also about accommodation and how to get here. So all that information they can have from our website, so that they have a one-stop shop.
Perfect. That's a heavy lineup. And so this is the St. Kitts Music Festival, speaking with Mr. Allister Williams, straight out of St. Kitts and Nevis. As I mentioned, he's executive director of the Tourism Events Unit out of St. Kitts. And we just got the heavy lineup that's happening between June 26th and the 28th in St. Kitts for St. Kitts' 27th Music Festival. You mentioned Shensia, Signal Band. Signal Band has a very popular song out right now, Trilogy as well. Patrice Roberts, Young Brother, Cass, of course, we know Cass the Band, and more. That's on Thursday night. And he mentioned, the man Vibes Cartel is performing on the 27th, and as well as Barrington Levy. I love Barrington Levy. And you have Spice, Chronic Law, and more that day. And then the Saturdays he mentioned, Jennifer Hudson will be performing. You have Romain Virgo, Christopher Martin. I mean, these are very big artists, and like you said, it's a diverse genre. Even though you say, okay, Thursday might be like a heavy reggae, or Friday might be this, or Saturday might be that, but you have still a mixture, because on the Saturday you have Jennifer Hudson, and then you have reggae Christopher Martin, Romain Virgo, and so you kind of mix it up. What's the method behind that?
Beg your pardon? What's
the not the method, but what is the idea behind mixing up the different genres of music on some of the days? Although it may be heavy on a genre of music, you still mixed it.
Okay, well, as I indicated before, the intention really is to cater to a wide cross-section of patrons. And so we felt if a group of friends wanted to come down from the US, the UK, or even within the Caribbean, we want to make sure that all of them can come together and all of them would experience some aspect of the festival because the lineup is so diverse that there'll be something for all of them. So they won't be bored at all just tagging along.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, the lineup is quite diverse. It caters to different musical tastes. Mm-hmm. And so that was our intention from the get-go. And we have done so over the years. We have made sure that we mix it up in such a way that everyone can have something at the festival.
Yeah, and I see that because you might say, oh, I want to listen to this one person, so you'll stay and listen, make sure you hear your artist. And so another friend might have a different interest in a different artist, and so it's something for everyone, like he's mentioned. And so that's great. So we're talking about that. So what's the prices for the tickets?
I didn't hear that. Beg your pardon?
Oh, so maybe I spoke too fast. So what are the prices for the tickets?
Oh, okay. We are still the least expensive, I believe, in the region. We are just $65 per night. So all this action, all these artists, only $65 per night. And as I indicated, tickets can be had at our website. You can buy tickets online, or if you prefer, you can buy tickets at the gate or one or two of our outlets on island. But tickets on island won't be on sale until around the middle of June. Okay. But if you don't want to be in the rush, then you can purchase online via our site, www.thinkitzmusicfestival.com. As I indicated, we are still the cheapest in the region, just $65 for all these artists, one festival, one stage, multiple artists.
Great.
Per night.
Perfect. And so, and that's $65 per night. You get all of your all these acts every night.
You get a wide cross section of music, mm-hmm. Artists, music, and of course exhilarating performances. Mm-hmm. All for just $65.
Yep, that's $65 US. Okay,
that's $65 US, $175 EC for those of you coming from the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Yeah,
definitely. That's definitely affordable and attractive in regards to the pricing. So we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk more about the music festival and then other ways to get to St. Kitts. You better get your tickets really quick because the prices are high in regards to the travel. But you can probably work it out in regards to different, maneuvering different things. But it looks like it's very popular already. What is the word that I'm trying to think of? It's highly anticipated, and so the travel sites have seen that and reflected in the costs. But there are different ways to get to St. Kitts still, and so we can still make it happen. We're going to talk about that, and then also some of the fringe events around the St. Kitts Music Festival, and so we're going to talk about those things. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. You're listening to I'm Making It Happen with Exception Years, Nykole Tyson. And if you were with us before the break, you'll know you're speaking with Executive Director of the Tourism Events Unit out of St. Kitts, Mr. Allister Williams. And we're talking about the upcoming St. Kitts Music Festival happening June 26th through the 28th. And we mentioned the lineup that's happening. You have it's a diverse genre of music every night. And now we're going to talk about some of the fringe events. So can you tell us about, tell us about more what people can, be involved in regards to the fringe events that surrounding the event when they start?
Okay. Thank you for that question. But what we spoke a lot about the lineup and the 3 nightly concerts for the festival, which is the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But of course, the festival have expanded way beyond the 3 nightly concerts. As a matter of fact, we actually start out as early as the Saturday before, which is the 21st, I believe. 21st of June. And we start out with a juve because, as Caribbean people, we like street dancing, we like to jump up and so we start out with a juve. So, encourage our nationals overseas and, of course, visitors to come and get a little taste of what is to come for Carnival, for instance. And so we started with the juve on the Saturday before. On the Sunday, I indicated earlier on that we used to have 4 nights, which included the gospel night. We had discontinued the gospel night, but one of the local churches came forward and we collaborated to do a gospel session. So that is on the 22nd of June. So for those of you who have a little more time, have vacation, for instance, you can come in for a week, and you come in from the Saturday before the festival, and you can experience not only the juve and daytime activities like family day and so on, but you could also experience the gospel festival, Praise Fest, which is happening on the Sunday prior to the 3-night concert. Then, of course, on Monday, we have another fringe event. We are still working out all the final details with respect to that one because it's a new initiative we are bringing. Then on Tuesday, we have what we call Binge Arrival. Binge Arrival have been going on for quite some time. It's a sort of party fest, so to speak. And, in Caribbean people, we love fest, we love parties and so on. So that is on the Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we have another fest, which is our welcome fest, Escape. So, folks can come in as early as the Tuesday, Wednesday, because there's something every single day of the week during the festival. So on the Wednesday, we have Escape. Then Tuesday's Binge Arrival, and then we have Escape on the Wednesday. All of these activities you can get information on from our website. When you log on, you can go in and you could get a little more information and, of course, pricing. Then we're going to Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the concert. And, of course, listen out because there's also daytime activities happening as well throughout the island. So the website will give you some indication of some of those. I can't remember all of them offhand at the moment. On Sunday, we bring the curtain down with White Sands, which is our beach activity. And the White Sand is a much anticipated event each year.
Yes.
This is the cool down event from the festival. This is on the Sunday after the 3-night concert. So those of you who want to experience the White Sand event would have to stay on and leave perhaps on the Monday if you want to experience the beach line. So that is an all-white affair. So all-white affair on the beach, Carambola Beach, one of our popular beaches, beach on the island.
It's a beautiful spot.
We want to encourage the patrons to stay on for that all-white fest. That is the Sunday of the festival, which is the 29th. And that basically will bring the curtains down on this year's event. However, I believe there's another activity on the same Sunday. There are boat rides. There are different events. I think the Carambola, the Park Hyatt is also presenting an event also on that Sunday. For those of you who have done the White Beach Party before and want to try something new, there's a new event at the Park Hyatt the same Sunday. There's also a boat, a catamaran type event on that Sunday as well. So there are several options for one to choose from. So you don't have to limit yourself to any one event. There are several things that is going on at the same time. Or in true Caribbean style, you may want to go to all because, we tend to like to go hopping. So we go to everything. So that's the option also. So there are several options. So, you don't have to limit yourself to just one event.
Perfect. Okay.
And that's basically some of what is done. Of course, there's also, for those of us who want to learn a little bit more about the destination, there's so many you can do. I mean, think it's steep in history and culture. So during the daytime, don't be afraid to explore our many offerings. There's quite a lot to see, quite a lot to do. So, we invite you to log on our site, and there should be a link to our tourism site as well that will give you, or visit stayingkids.com, and that will give you more information on some of the things to do, some of the places to see, some of the must-see places, and, so that you can get a full package for the weekend or for the week, as the case may be. But
yes.
There's something for everyone, something to do. And of course, while you're out, you can make sure to savor some of our Kittitian delicacies in the area of food and drink and so on. And of course, mingle up with our people. You'll find that Kittitians are very friendly. And of course, don't forget, there's a sister island just next door. Just 5 minutes away, you can go over during the daytime and explore Nevis naturally.
Yes, there's a lot to do in Nevis. So if you're, between the daytime events or activities, you definitely need to make sure to go over to Nevis. The hot baths, oh my gosh, I was there and I saw how they expanded, developed that even more than before. And so definitely that's a must experience, the hot baths. And let's talk about, like you talk about the history, the rich history. Tell us, the first hotel within the Caribbean region was from where?
Well, of course, Nevis, the Bath Hotel on Nevis, that was one of the first hotels to open its doors in the region. And ever since that time, we have been welcoming visitors and friends to our Twin Island shores. And we continue to do so. Whether through the music festival, through our national carnival, Sugar Mass, or any other major event, I mean, we have always been a hospitality leader. We've always been out there welcoming visitors and friends to our shores. So Nevis is known to have had the first hotel within the region, the Bath Hotel. And of course, it's the birthplace of Alexander Hamilton. And for those of you who have followed Hamilton, the theatrical presentation, you would want to visit Nevis to learn a little bit more about Alexander Hamilton and his connection to Nevis while you're here. And don't forget, we are the mother colony of the West Indies, having been the first place that the British landed, and of course the French as well. So we are basically the launching pad for both in the region. So there's quite a lot to see, quite a lot to do, a lot of history, and there are several guided tours. And I'm sure during the festival time, you can also hook up with one of the tour operators who can give you a tour of some of these areas and tell you a little bit more about who we are as a people and our aspirations as we go forward.
Yeah. In addition to that, in regards to Alexander Hamilton, there's actually, you can still see his birthplace, I believe, the last time I was there.
Yes, the Alexander Hamilton Museum is still in Nevis. You can learn so much about the Hamilton at the museum, and you can get the connection with Nevis and, his contribution to not only Nevis, but the United States of America as well.
Oh, yeah. So we are very familiar with Alexander Hamilton. He is praised here. And his mother's burial site is actually on St. Croix. And there's other historic places specific to him here. So very much aware. And there's actually a restaurant now here called Hamilton's as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And of course, no visit to St. Kitts is complete without visiting Brimstone Hill.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter, I can't even describe the view, the whole character of Brimstone Hill. I mean, it's one is left in awe as to the miraculous work at the Hill, all done by our ancestors, because it was basically built by African slaves. It took over 100 years to complete. And one must marvel over the fact that, our ancestors built that immaculate fort, bearing in mind in those days, there were no technology like now.
Right.
There were no fancy equipment or heavy-duty equipment, but they did all that work manually. And it is a work of art, in my view, and it speaks to the resilience of, our people, the people of the region.
Yes,
and
tell us what Brimstone Hill is, so those that don't know, what is Brimstone Hill?
Well, Brimstone Hill is a World Heritage Site. It's actually a fort. It was one of the forts built by the British in the region, and of course, history will tell you that the best forts were usually built in the countries that the mother colony valued, because it was felt that those islands needed to be protected. So they spent a lot of time, a lot of money, making sure they had good protection, and the protection was basically by those forts. And so Brimstone Hill is one such fort. It is a World Heritage Site, and it's a spectacular piece of work, and I encourage anyone wants to come into St. Kitts to take some time and go and visit Brimstone Hill and to see the marvelous work that was done by our ancestors many years ago.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
And still standing.
Still standing, very solid. Beautiful view, as you mentioned, and there's so much to do on the property, so that is a must-see. And so if you are just tuning in, this is Mr. Allister Williams. He is the Executive Director of the Tourism Events Unit out of St. Kitts, and our purpose for the conversation today was discussing the St. Kitts Music Festival happening June 26th through the 28th. He mentioned acts that's happening, all the artists, very popular artists, as well as the fringe events happening in the evening. There are going to be things happening during the day. It is definitely a family event, and that you can also venture to Nevis, which is a very quick, 10-minute, if you take the speed ferry over, and or take the other ferry, which could be I think about 45 minutes, but it's a very quick trip to get over to Nevis and be able to experience both worlds, St. Kitts and Nevis, all right? And so we're going to take a break. When we get back, we are going to, just wrap up in regards to, again, re-mentioning the acts, the artists, things you can do, and places that you can see while you're in St. Kitts. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back, and we are here with Allister Williams out of St. Kitts. You're listening to I'm Making It Happen with exceptional yours, Nykole Tyson. And we're talking about the St. Kitts Music Festival, the 27th Music Festival out of St. Kitts. And we've found out about their artists. I just want us to reiterate the artists that's going to be performing Thursday, the 26th of June through Saturday, the 28th. And you want to just read them off real quick, Mr. Williams?
Okay, so we have Thursday 26th. We have Shensia, Signal Band, Trilogy, Patrice Roberts, Young Brother, Kester Band, Akai Sweet, Tubap, Collision Band, and Honeybee String Band. On Friday the 27th June, we have Barrington Levy, Spy, Da Vinci, Chronic Law, Dejro, St. Kitts Steel Orchestra, DJ Terror, Ideli Nappy, Colin Wyatt, and of course Vibes Cartel. And bringing the curtains down on Saturday the 28th, we have Romain Bogo, Christopher Martin, Abina Amory, Virgil Hodge, Nicholas Bronco, Ira Starr, and Jennifer Hudson.
Yes, so something for everyone. All those nights. And drum roll, if I had a drum roll, is only $65 per night to see all these different acts.
That's right.
US
Only
dollars.
$65 US per night. And of course, if you want to experience VIP, then you could also have that as well because that option is available. I do not have the rates offhand, but like I said, you can get all that information on our website, www.thinkitsmusicfestival.com.
Yes. And I'm on the site right now. There's a lot of information on here. So you can go there and see, all the different acts. You can buy your tickets, and then you can see all the different events that's happening each day. It is so much. So just go to the site, StKidsMusicFestival.com, and you will see a lot of the information, more than we just discussed. Okay, it's a very massive website.
That's right. And just to remind listeners also from your area that you have Cape Air flying from St. Thomas Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So you can check them out if you're trying to make travel plans. Or out of Tartola, you have Rainier on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So that's two options out of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. And of course, there's also the option of coming to St. Kitts via Miami. So fly up to Miami and come back down.
And there's also Cape Air. You could go look at Nevis possibly. So Nevis and then take the boat over.
That's right. And then, of course, we don't want potential patrons to be discouraged. When you log on, you find that you can't find accommodation, don't worry. Consider the sister island Nevis, and as we said earlier on, it's just 5 minutes away. We have water taxis running every 5 minutes, so you won't miss anything at all. It's just 5 minutes between St. Kitts and Nevis, and you can be at the venue. I'll say a half an hour for the entire journey. It's that much at all.
It's really good.
So there's countless possibilities. So even if you can't find anything on St. Kitts, just remember Nevis is just a stone throw away. So don't let that hinder you from booking and coming over and enjoying a spectacular weekend.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that. And then also, maybe even looking at the tickets, looking at, I'm not sure if any major flights go into Nevis. I'm sure they do, but possibly even looking at, flying into Nevis and, like I said, coming over on the ferry, because when you go, you might be like ticker shocked for the for some of the flights. But I'm glad that Mr. Williams did mention Winair. The option traveling through Tortola, which is definitely an option. And then also, going through Nevis. So there's just different ways to get there. So don't get discouraged if you look at go on Expedia, one of them sites, and they're like, oh my God, the price is high. But look at the other Caribbean airlines and the other islands.
And just to mention also that, even if the flights are showing full into St. Kitts, also consider the Nevis option because some of these flights fly into Nevis as well. And so that's an option because you can stay on Nevis and come over to St. Kitts, or you can stay on St. Kitts but come in via Nevis because it's one federation and it's just a 5-10 minutes trip away.
Yes. And so, again, it was such a pleasure to have you, Mr. Williams. I'm talking about the St. Kitts Music Festival happening June 26th through the 28th. Make sure to check out the website, StKidsMusicFestival.com, and you will find out more information in regards to the event and all of the fringe events surrounding it. The White Sands, I've been to that, and it was amazing. Very great. It's a great experience, all the events. And that's that's the next day. That's a Sunday. And so definitely check that out. And they said that there's one at Hyatt, which is a beautiful, beautiful hotel, resort on St. Kitts. And so you can look that up as well at the StKidsMusicFestival.com. And there's so much to do in St. Kitts, Nevis. And so you can make it a family trip. and learn more about the culture and the history, and just how St. Kitts also contributed to many of the formation of some of the other islands.
Right. And just to say also that the St. Music Festival is only one of the events that we present during the summer, but the summer is a whole new, it's just a whole experience. It's a vibe, really. And so the music festival kick off the summer fun promotion in St. Kitts. So you also have Restaurant Week that follows shortly after the music festival. That is in July. So for those who are thinking ahead, they can also think about Restaurant Week if they still want to come into St. Kitts. And of course, you have Culturama over on Nevis, which is their version of Carnival in July, late July, August. Then you have CPL, the Caribbean Premier League, happening also in St. Kitts. So there's quite a lot to do during the summer in St. Kitts and Nevis. So we invite you to consider coming over and being a part of the experience. And for those of you who want to think even further ahead, don't forget, we have the last carnival in the region each year. Our carnival runs from December to January. So it'll be from December 2024 to January 2025. And Sugar Mass is a whole spectacle. So we invite you to come on over in December if, you can't make it this June, or August for Culturama. We want to consider December for Sugar Mass.
Yep. And I don't know if you mean this last carnival for St. Kitts, but we also have carnival during that time for St. Croix.
Well, St. Croix, that's in January, Three Kings.
What was it? We you know about it. So, but we do some events. But when is yours?
In December? Okay, well, yeah. That's good. So then that's, so for those persons in the diaspora or, visitors from overseas, they can come on and they could take in 3 islands perhaps, because I think there's also something in Carnival in Montserrat. Yeah. So they can do St. Croix,
exactly.
Montserrat, St. Kitts, that's the great thing about the Caribbean is that we are so close that, you could practically do a 1-week trip, but you cover 3-4 islands.
Yeah, I just have to mention it.
All of this.
I just have to mention it just in case, when I get off the radio, people tell me, "Oh, he said that's the last one in the region." No, so I just have to make sure I mention it that we also have ours. But then definitely we can experience other places, which I have as well during that time period. So great. Yeah. So we appreciate you, Mr. Williams, for being with us. Anything you want to say before we close out? No? I think he's getting some feedback. You hung up? Okay, so that was Mr. Williams. We appreciate you for being with us. We appreciate him for being with us and sharing the information for the music festival in St. Kitts and Nevis. And that's going to be happening June 26th through the 27th. June 28th, all right? And so make sure to check out Jets in St. Kitts Nevis, June 26th through the 28th, St. Kitts Music Festival. All right. And then also, before we close out, definitely want to mention that Carlos Furniture is still your number one furniture in the USVI and the British Virgin Islands. Make sure to check them out in Peters Rest St. Croix or Tutu Park Mall, Tutu Park Mall St. Thomas. And they're open 7 days a week. For your convenience, all right? Have all your bedroom, bathroom, living room, and kitchen appliances, and more, and decorative items, as well as want to mention Quality Auto Parts, open 7 days a week as well, and they have all your quality auto parts needs near Sunny Isles, and that's all in their name. And so we appreciate again, Mr. Allister, for being with us and sharing those wonderful insights into the St. Kitts Music Festival.
It's clear that the festival is a major cultural event and a powerful tool for boosting the local economy during this the downturn and bringing together people from all walks of life and interests of genres of music. And so go to stkitsmusicfestival.com for more details. And don't forget to plan ahead for an unforgettable experience. Thanks again for being with us today, Mr. Williams, and we wish you all the best for the festival as the festival approaches there in St. Kitts and Nevis. All right, and I want to thank all those who's tuned in today on I'm Making It Happen. We will be back again. I'm traveling, so I will be back. We'll be back again on next week, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on I'm Making It Happen with exception yours, Nykole Tyson. And as always, have an amazing rest of the day and the week. We'll connect again on next week, Wednesday. And as always, I say, if you don't see something happening, create it, be the change. And until next time, keep thinking outside the box, coloring outside the lines. And remember, it's about you, me, we. So make it happen.